Right now, we're on our way to Empz, and that's where I moved after. And it's funny because, we just came from Galloway. 4010 was where I'm from, and then we moved to Empringham. And if I knew that, what I knew now, you'd think, oh shit, but I didn't know anything about that, which I'll talk about later, but it's pretty much the same thing, it was I didn't stay there that long, but it's a big part of who I am today still, and it's still love from people who I met there still till this day, so it's a big part of what makes me who I am right now. So we're going to Empringham. Okay, so yeah, right now we're here back at Empz. This is my old area. After 4010, we moved here, and this is 90. Right here, I lived at 90, and let me tell you something. Even though it has some troubles, and this is around year maybe like 2005 or something like around there, or six, and when it wasn't the thick of the bullshit that was going on here. But let me tell you something. That was probably like the most fun, most memorable experience I had just living. People are looking at me funny, like, most memorable experience I've lived in here. I made so much friends, and there's so much good people. Aside from the bullshit, that's just like the part that I have. This first time, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know, they say like, I think it's the only one that has two bathrooms. I had two bathrooms, and I felt nice. Anytime you're over here, people, can I use a bathroom? Like, if you go through the door right there, there's a bathroom right as you turn left. This truck is kind of blocking us, but that window right up there, see the top, that window, that was mine. I was so excited because I was doing it that way. Remember how we were in a 2-bedroom apartment in 4010 with like 7 of us. I got my own room that I didn't even sleep in, but it was my own room. I remember that. Right below is the kitchen. I can never forget it. I still know the whole layout. Right below is the kitchen, and then on this side is my sister's room, so it was right beside mine. And then if you go down, there was the master bedroom, it was my parents' bedroom, the windows on the back. And then right here, down here, that was my brother's room, and that's right beside the kitchen. So when you walk out from this room to the left, you have your kitchen. So that's right under. So when you go through the front door, you come like this, you're in the living room. But if you go left before you come up the stairs to go to the living room, then you're in the basement. Yeah. And now there's this construction. I don't even know what they're doing here, but this wasn't here. They have a notice board what they're doing here. This is all like nice grass we used to play on too, and there used to be like these bushes. I don't know, all that's gone now, dead. When I tell you the neighborhood was live, it was live. Like I remember we used to have, not me because I don't want to get hurt, but we used to have like bike races. They used to have bike races around. You just sit down on a porch and just watch the wipeouts. People used to scrape up themselves and drop it, whatever. Water fights, manhunt, like it was sick. I highly doubt it's like that today. I think everybody's gone. Yeah. Come this way. You get that little wooden door right there on the side. That was right where I kept my water gun. Look, anytime water fights wanted to pop off, it was always ready. I had the purple super soaker in there. Any man could get it anytime. If a water fight wanted to break out, I didn't have to go inside. I just grabbed the water super soaker and it was ready. I used to always walk back here, and this will bring you right to the park, so everybody is seeing you. I haven't been here in so long, and it feels like they didn't change nothing. I don't think these fences were here though. I think it was all wood, like that. They had like those fences. First day I came here, one of the first, like, early here, I remember coming here and seeing all the kids on this park. And they're like, oh, what's your name, whatever, where are you from? And I was like, yo, we're from Galloway, like, and they go, one kid goes, oh, we don't like people from Galloway. And when I was younger, I didn't know, like, what do you mean you don't like us? You don't know us from nowhere. And that was my first introduction as to, like, the whole politics and whatever as where you're from. And, like, even then, I didn't get it. I didn't ask any questions. I was young. I'm like, we're playing grounders, whatever, let's play. I didn't think anything of it. But as you spend more time here, then you realize, like, there's some real violence going on between Galloway and whatever. And, like, I got to see it more and more. And it's like, damn. That's, I think, what sort of led me. A lot of people when they're around the environment, you can either go towards it, join it, or you can sort of see like what's wrong with it. And I think from early I saw what's wrong with it. Especially, I give credit my dad as well, because he was like, even though I was around it, he was able to like push that into me and show like that's not what you're doing in life. So everybody, I think they used to spray paint shit here. I know some used to spray paint their name over there, and like the actually older heads were actually with the shit like crossed out a bunch of names. I remember right there, a kid like set his garage like on fire or something. I remember sitting there just watching with a bunch of friends. But yeah, there was a bunch. I don't think I changed enough about this park. I used to jump off of this thing right here all the time. I remember. If I do that right now, I'll break something or twist my knee or something. There used to be like water. We used to do a water park thing here. I forget whose backyard we used, but we used to run like a hose and just push it down, put it down this slide, and we'd have water, just have water fights on water side, whatever. And when I tell you everybody used to come through for that, man, those were the days. You're not staying inside for no video games, no Facebook, MSN, nothing. You're outside enjoying life. And we used to have like so many friends around the areas, like so many people who used to live, you used to go chill on their porch or whatever, and like it was a good time. Despite like there was some things used to go around here and there, some, but there was a bunch of kids around and you had fun. And I think that's what sort of made me who I am today. Like to this day, like I love good vibes. I like to make people laugh. I love to laugh. I love to hang around with loved ones, because I would see like the other side of like, being into that hood shit. See where it gets you. I've seen the real of it, and it's just like, yeah, that's not for me. So that's one thing where you see is what you get with me, because I'll never ever pretend to be a certain person. I'll never ever pretend to be somebody I'm not. But that's also the reason why I'm not scared of certain things. Like certain people probably, when they think of Empz, and they think like, oh, they don't want to come through here and it's whatever, because they know that name it got. But where I grew up, so I didn't even see. I'm cautious. I'm aware of it, but Eastland, this backyard is huge. It was just tiny. That was the master bedroom, my parents' window. They come around here. So anytime anybody's at the park, I used to have to peek, because you couldn't even see straight because it's on an angle. I used to have to crouch on this corner and break my neck to look see who's outside and see if I'm coming outside. And I was able to see whoever's coming, whoever's yelling or whatever, whoever's coming through the side. I lived right here, so I would hear and see it all. It's like hollow. Right now they can probably even hear me talking. Like it's so like you can hear everything. Right now we're gonna go down to, what is it, 10 or whatever the fuck on the other side is. We're gonna go there because when I was here, I never used to go there because that's where all of the men were involved in that shit. So I just sort of stayed away from it. This was the side I was on. I used to come outside by myself. I was young, but I used to roam by myself. I didn't care. But I never went on that side. But that's where the basketball court was. But I'm going there now. Even listen, I used to live right here, right? So I knew what was going on in times when I was young going. But when I even said like the positivity, it was a community still. It was still a good vibes, good people. So that's what we're pushing. I'm not pushing no negativity and
no, I'm just inquire.
Yeah, for sure.
Just inquire,
I'm just letting you know, yeah.
This section, yeah, me. And all big people live in this section, yeah. See?
Yeah.
See, all responsible people, you know what I mean?
Sure.
See? So, when I see things that I've never seen before, I gotta question it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first time I've been back here in a while. I'm just saying changes, and I'm just saying, like, despite all, because even when I tell people you're from Empringham, people look at it as bad, and I'm telling you there's such good people here, and there's such good times growing up here the same way, so.
Okay,
Karen.
Yeah.
When you're being conditioned, stigmatized, categorized, see what I'm saying? It's hard to remove that stigma. So, the goodness that come out of here, because the stigma is already in it. They won't believe that good because it's been generalized and stigmatized. Gin and fridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, bro? Those are just names. There are people who live underneath that name. They're good people.
Yeah.
A few bad apple make it look like the whole community
For the
is
whole
bad.
bunch, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once you get rid of anything bad, we put it in garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So once you can weed out the bad weed, you got paradise. But it's not weed them out. It's to bring them back in from the bad that they are. Because if you weed them out, they go further in the fucking ignorance. So you gotta give them something to deter them from the ignorance. Some sense of hope is not a plan. Security, acceptance, opportunity, and respect. No matter what is it you do, you still need respect.
Right.
Whether it's good, bad, evil, or indifference. You can't change a man's heart, but you can help him to a different path. Instead of pointing that, yo bro, hold this. Let me guide you.
The right direction, yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because that part that you're going on right now, it's a far road. Prison, death, deport, and death again.
And very few had that guidance.
See? And for we into your society that you gotta grow in. See, because I'm from the fucking 60s. So that means I see it all.
Seen it all, yeah.
Know what I mean? This shit scares me. Because now, artificial intelligence. That's what we're competing against.
Hey.
That's what parents is competing against. Parents can't tell children nothing no more. Because parents themselves too is fucking engaged in the same artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
Right, you're right.
And it's started with the engine. Things start getting revolved. We introduced to a different system. You understand? Because now we don't have cars with carburetor no more. Every fucking car got an injector.
Yeah.
Every car got a computer. See? That bitch sitting right there. Don't know nothing about computer, don't know nothing about injectors. See?
Yeah.
So when them ready to take back them fucking Chipotle out here. Yeah, I can't drive. I'll be driving. You know what I mean?
Right.
We are tough.
Alright.
You gotta shift away from the modern day thing, bro. They tell you gotta get up with the fucking times. You ain't gotta get nowhere with times, because there's only two times. Daytime, nighttime. Time is what they give you.
Yeah. We're gonna keep it, we're gonna move, we're gonna push that positivity.
Yeah. Guidance, bro.
Alright.
Brown man, I like your red shoes. Your red.
Right here, this was my neighbor, and like, she used to have a garden right here. You could have stepped in her garden. I don't know if you know that scene from Friday where they're like, she's like, hey, don't move, and they have to jump over. That's what we always have to do. She's like, there's a path. Please don't step in my garden. There's a little garden there. So that's why I used to live right here. And I always used to pass to go to their house, but. And I used to have my brother's friend who lived right here. You know, all this shit, I think eventually, like, I don't really know the full story. I wouldn't say it caught up to him because they say he wasn't involved, but he's the one who got shot and killed down by Mother Teresa. This house right here, we used to stay on those steps, get those steps. We used to stay on those steps, and I used to chill with my brother and him. And to this day, the one thing I remember about him about is there's this laugh. His laugh, one of those infectious laughs. Like, if you said something and he laughed, you weren't really laughing at a joke, you're laughing at his laugh. So I remember something like that, and that's sort of like the dark times I remember is like, I even remember when, I don't know, they must have fought him or beat him up right here or something, and I remember looking over there, and that was the first time I ever seen like blood like really coming out of a man's mouth, and like blood up close like that. I've never seen that before. You know, right here, you know. His name was Shema, rest in peace. But yeah, that was the first time I think I was like around, I wouldn't say introduced, but like I was around like really like death like that. Like I never really seen the violence, whatever, up close like that. It wasn't something that I was used to or knew, but whatever. Sad things, but you know, you just try and learn from it and move on. That's from my point of view, though, from a family perspective. You can't do that. That's tough. A piece of your, you know, your son or your brother is gone. But yeah, we're going through this way. You see, now this was like my border. I had no reason to come down here. I wasn't coming down here for nothing. Because also my friends were over here. I had no reason to come through here, so it was kind of like, I think I came down here like once in the blue moon, and it was like kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie, because you see all a bunch of mans posted up and you're thinking like, what the hell, like you just cut that. But the same reason that guy's saying, it's the same thing, like, see, there was a stigma or whatever around this area till this day, and I probably don't remember him, but he's probably here when I was here. This whole alley, like, I didn't come over here, I had no business. We used to play manhunt, we used to run through the back there, get around that area there. It's kind of open and you could run, like behind the backyard, you used to run there for manhunt, run around people's houses and stuff. You have to jump fences, and I could jump any fence. I could jump. The thing about me, I was a hop lap. I could jump any this. I'll clear this. You don't even, a lot of people need like this thing to put there to hop on the fence. I don't even need that. I'll jump clear anything. My brother's friend used to live somewhere over here. I used to go there a couple of times. He was like, he kind of didn't really come outside. He stayed inside. Like, I know I used to play PS2 and stuff with him over there, but yeah. Yeah, I never used to, I had no business over here. I never forget one time, I think it was Victoria Day or Canada Day or something. We must have walked, we didn't even come here, but we walked just over on the end of the street just to see what was going on. And it was dark, but we seen a man pointing like a firecracker at us and just started running at us, so we dipped. We didn't come back. I think this is where mostly like police used to come through here. Like I used to watch in my window and you can see, because there was a pathway that we passed from my window coming here. Police used to be always patrolling around here. This is the basketball court. The basketball court's been here for the longest time, but I never used it. I never came here. I think they painted this. I don't think the court was blue, but they painted it. What's going on, yo? Just a little YouTube video. They used to years ago.
I work for housing, so I'm one of the community development staff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's your name?
Sean.
Sean?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I used to live around here like around 2006 or so I'm just coming back and just
Yeah.
seeing the differences and just telling people, you know, how it was here. I'm saying, even though there's a little bit of stigma, I'm like, this is my area, yo.
Yeah.
Good people, good vibes. So
We actually have a meeting next week, Tuesday. We're going to be doing a landscaping project and changing up this whole space. So new basketball court, adding a playground, better pathways, better signage.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. It's good to see some development and stuff, because I remember like as a kid, I never used to come on this side. I used to be on the other side, but like we were just always outside. So I feel if we can get that back, because I feel like, you know, all these videos and everything, everybody, you know, if people are willing to come back outside and stuff, especially after Corona too.
During the pandemic, like I just started working out here, like let's say November.
Yeah.
We did like a fall fest. We did pumpkin carving.
Okay.
We had some barbecues. We were doing some food programs.
Okay. So it's already started then. Okay.
Well, we're trying to kind of spark back that energy,
Yeah.
right? Like there's things that been, things that been happening very active, and then different availability, different interests, different leadership, right? So we're kind of just bring back people and say, hey, listen, like what you need, let us know in terms of resources. But at the end of the day, it takes the community to kind of spearhead that. Right? So, especially with the young people, man, when it comes to like the safety, the crime, and kind of being lured into certain things, it's important that they don't feel isolated or feel like they have to be living in fear or just being intimidated. You know, there's options out there. There's a reality that's outside of our control, but at the end of the day, it's these connections. You know, the fact that you've grown up here, you know what it's about, but then you probably made, you know, positive choices in your life or been able to learn and build from your past kind of learning. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I wasn't even the type of person who wanted to be involved. I could see, especially my dad would beat that into me like, yo, this is not. Which even though you're around it, to Sean.
Sean?
Yeah, even though you're around it, like this is not for you.
Like, are you connected with Joseph around here?
Yeah, I know Joseph.
Yeah. It's like him, right? Like he grew up here too, but he's choosing a different outlet to kind of represent himself and kind
comedy and all that.
Right?
Exactly.
But there's people that live in the same row of townhouses that choose a different lifestyle, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's tough to have that conversation. It gets awkward, right?
It's you know,
sometimes
but it goes back to the point that you made, the parenting. Right? Like some people have that discipline, some people are not physically able to be at the home to provide that discipline. Trying to make ends meet, juggling 2-3 part-time jobs, trying to pay all the bills, you know, dealing with a teenager, maybe dealing with a younger child, right? So yeah, it's a lot of layers, right? But now I was just curious because I you know, for the most part, I don't business in terms of what's going on. Again, it's out of my control.
Exactly.
But it's good to sometimes just see who's out there, because maybe I'll see you next time, or I'll show you my business card and be like, hey, is there any way we can kind of collab on certain things in the summertime, whether it's a community event or a program, we'll touch base. Right?
Sure, yeah.
That was the best. All right.
Okay.
Nice meeting you, bro. Take it easy.
Sure. All right. Yeah. All right. And there, so you have it. There's the answer right there. There's things, because even though I was small, I remember a lot, and I don't remember. There was probably like a couple people who were reaching out to like the more vulnerable guys who needed, but I didn't remember seeing or hearing things like that. Like they're trying to. I think after a lot of the year, the kind of thing they did have put some money into the community to sort of better it, and it did work in a sense, but I think it worked more because of their raids. Like a lot of people either went to jail, died, and a lot of people moved out because, like, especially people who I grew up with here, a lot of them are not here. They left. So I don't know the situation, but I'm guessing it's because of the violence and whatever. You never know, but yeah. This court. What was I saying? I was saying I never used to be able to come here, yo. Because my area was down there. I stayed over here.
There's actually a ball over there.
Huh?
There's actually a ball over there.
I didn't really want to touch it.
Corona.
Real shit, you never know. But that's good to hear, like, they're doing like community events, whatever. I remember they used to have like a breakfast thing going on. I went to that once or a couple of times maybe, but there wasn't really no, you know, certain areas to sort of have things put on by the city, and like there was none of that. Everything was just sort of like there's this one guy used to hand out freezies and things like that, and we just made our own buzz, made our own fun. We didn't really have no events and none like that I can remember over here. We didn't have none of that here. And it's funny that guy was talking about that, because I think it's true, like there was a lot of people here who like did get caught up into that life, and it's like, yo, for anybody who's watching this and they're like, not even just this area, like any area, it's like, yo, you don't have to really be involved in that thing. Like a lot of people feel like if they grow up with those people and that's the direction they're going, they're gonna stay with it, and then you don't really think about it. You just, okay, that's the run-ins, you're Empz man, whatever man, and you keep involved in whatever's going on, and it's like, okay, you don't realize you're getting caught up. You're just moving fast, you're having fun with your guys, you're moving, and then boom, you're in some type of trouble or whatever, and it just keeps going further and further. People involve you in things, and you know what I mean? It's like, you gotta stop that shit and find your way, like what you want to do in your life and provide for your family. That's one thing that I'm kind of seeing right now for myself. I'm able to help out more and try, and like, yo, the satisfaction of that is so much better than, you know, a man knowing you're a shooter or whatever, a man being afraid of you, or you saying you're a real nigga or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like the validation, whatever, from other people. I didn't find no value in that. This man thinks I'm a waste, whatever. What's he doing for my life? He's not doing nothing for me. It's whatever. I feel like there's a lot of that going on social media. A lot of people feel like they need to claim they're from this, and they need to prove they're so this, and I don't understand that, but whatever. Everybody's different, you know. And yeah, so this was the path that you keep going. We just went around the other way. This is right in front of my old house. So this is the path that my bedroom was right there. So I used to be able to pray and see. And I remember seeing like whoever was coming up here, if police guys were coming through here doing their rounds. I remember even seeing like, man used to like run through like backyard and everywhere because it's like a circle, right? So if police came this way, you cut through the back. You can always cut through the backs of the back guys. And I remember just seeing my windows watching. So. And there's probably so much more people I'm forgetting, but like I used to always be able to go into people's houses and like just chill, vibes. It was good times. And you know, there was a couple guys even I think people knew like my family was from Galloway or whatever, and we had a couple problems there. I wasn't gonna get into it, but I will. It's whatever. Yeah. And eventually, I feel like they didn't like my brother for whatever reason. Maybe because we were from Galloway, but we weren't involved nothing. But they were just so territorial. They weren't having like, yeah, whatever. So that was my door right there, that screen door. You know, when I was living there, they actually threw a brick. They actually like cornered my brother and like threw like a brick out at my screen door and like shattered the screen door. Even though my bedroom was right there, and I was sleeping, I didn't hear nothing. So when I woke up and you know everybody in my house was talking about it. Screen door shattered or whatever, and I'm like, then it happened. I wasn't really, I was like, whatever, people broke that screen door, but I really take it in like, yo, it's a brick now, but the next time it could have been like a shot or something fired through the door, you know. But even though all that happened, it still doesn't outshine the positivity and like the good times and the good people I've met here and had here. When I still think of that, I still don't think like, oh, like this is a bad area or whatever. I think like good times is fun. So that's the first thing that pops in my head. Just good times I had here. And there was like one man, if you know around them times, there was one guy who was like a crazy guy. Remember, I'll never forget this till this, even though I was young, I'll never forget like the look in his eyes, like he was a troubled guy. Something was wrong with him. I don't know if it was just in his head or if he went through something mentally, but like I always used to see him, and like as I grew older and I realized okay, he was involved in certain things, but it's like one thing, he looked like angry and mean, but he never ever did nobody ever did nothing to me. I guess as a child or whatever. Like a lot of times in the news you're seeing like you know this kid got hit or whatever. Like nobody ever did nothing to me. So I think there was even a bit of a difference there in the type of like how a man moves. You know, even though they probably knew I was from Galloway, I was just a kid and not gonna do nothing to me. So I think that's why it's not as traumatic or whatever. But you know. What's funny is this house, my sister's friend used to live here. She went to the same school. I used to have to go into the backyard. They used to lift me up through the window because I was a skinny small kid. If she was locked out, and I used to go unlock the door for her. I would come through, unlock the door for her. So yeah, that's Empz, and I didn't even go on the other side. I keep walking around and keep going, but you know, everybody who knows the Sterling's on the other side, and there's a whole field I used to go play through there as well. But I'm not even trying to walk through the whole area. But it's been good just coming back and seeing like the whole thing. It brings back a lot of memories. And I don't have no business over here really, so I don't really come over here. So it's just good to walk through and see like you see when you bump into two people who are sort of on the same wave. Like, there's changes coming to the area and whatever, and it's whatever. And like you know, it's good to see that. But one thing I'll say, if anybody's watching this, right, you feel like you know, just kind of thinking about where their head's at in terms of their area. I feel like I would say this, like their cars coming through is like, don't let I would say your love or your pride for your area get in the way of your for your success or your goals. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they put their block first so much to the point where like, yo, it's like they put their life sort of in jeopardy, you know, catching charges or whatever. It's like, it's not even worth it. So one thing, I would just take the positive out of your situation and take the positivity out of your situation, no matter where you live, and just try and keep that path and find something to do and just go. Because I've heard some stories about some people who, you know, sort of stayed in that light and got caught up, and it's like they only ended up dead, shot, whatever. It's like, I figured out that wasn't for me, you know. I made my changes, and I'm just trying in life, you know. So that's me. That's me. It's capital T Films. So watch your back, here is a car. We out.